Hey, what's going on? I'm AJ. This is my photo taking area for my eBay store. We are in my traveling eBay emporium, which is, I made some shorts before. It's a 16-foot trailer. I put a 16-foot metal building on, framed it out from the inside. So the first 8 feet is sort of my production area where I take photos, get things listed, shipping and receiving is right here. And now I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I want to get ready for live selling. I kind of just started doing YouTube. I just started doing this maybe a year and some change ago, and it's been going great for me. I've learned a lot, so this isn't like a learning video. This is what sold, and if you hang out towards the end, you'll see how I've learned. And we got a couple of bangers for you. So typically, what I find is in my area. I live near the mountains, near the Skyline Drive, Shenandoah Mountain Range, and I find a lot of like hiking, camping, fishing type stuff. Like the local Goodwills. These I kind of consider like bread and butter items. These are Pendleton shirts. I found two together, paid $6 a piece. They have cool prints. They both have the same sort of surf print on them. Typical stuff I find around here. These I'll probably get, 30 bucks. I might bundle them, get 45 for the pair. I don't know. Um, Nothing crazy, nothing exciting, just unique things that I started finding around here and buying and learning how to sell. And then some of the higher end stuff like Roosevelt's. Now, what I've learned about this is like size matters. The bigger ones sell better. It's not with all brands though. Some of these higher end brands, the smaller sizes do just as well. Um, Now this one, it was a mistake. It'll still get $30 for it, probably. I'll have to wash it because it came with some pit goo that I didn't notice until I got home, unfortunately. And it's like a solid pattern. But if you find one of these that has like a really cool pattern on it, they do collabs with other companies and stuff. This one is Hunter Green, which is good. It's a good keyword. But you get a lot more money for the cooler patterns, especially if you find them new with tag. And stuff like this, I find a lot of. Duluth, these are the fire hose pants. I learned with this company is you can get this brand a lot more places. You don't have to go directly to Duluth, and the secondary market has kind of flooded with this particular brand. So these are in new-ish condition. These are new, basically. I mean, they still feel new, but I'm gonna sell them as used. It's good size, 36 by 34. And this is like the fire hose fabric that they use. It's like a canvas, uh, and those still sell okay. I'll probably get 30 bucks for these. Those are some bread and butter items. What I've learned a lot is that when I first started out, one of the higher end brands you'd find at the thrift a lot, and it was confusing, was Polo Ralph Lauren, Ralph Lauren, Lauren Ralph Lauren. So many different options with Ralph Lauren things and so many different styles. And then there was even brands that tried to look like Ralph Lauren and called themselves Polo something else. So I'm not a big fashion guy when it comes to Ralph Lauren. But I have been picking that stuff up lately because I've learned a little bit. And what I've learned is with these newer Polo Ralph Lauren tags that have the QR code and whatnot on them, they do okay. They will sell, and but it has to be something special. You have to. This one is a nice color pattern, uh, a very popular plaid, and it has the yellow horse, which is okay on this shirt. Another sort of bread and butter item. I don't pick up any polo ever if I don't have to, but if it's something like this Polo Ralph Lauren with this particular tag, newer is fine. Um, and the color matters a lot. Like this one's still bright. Maybe another one that's duller and older wouldn't do so well. And the vintage ones do really well depending on the style. Um, Also, just like a $30 bread and butter item, it might catch more than that. It's a size large. Extra large would do better. And what I've learned though is with the vintage polo tag, see, there's a difference. Well, this is a Ralph Lauren newer tag. So this vintage polo Ralph Lauren, and this is a polo. It's in a cool, like peachy pink reddish um, design, which is fine. That's like a good keyword, I guess, the stripe situation. But more importantly, the Pima. It's a special type of cotton. It's a high-end cotton. This has a super soft feel to it, which is nice. And then even more importantly, I've learned, and there's a new one too, is the flesh-colored pony. That pony makes all the difference. Like a regular polo, flooded market. Polo Ralph Lauren, flooded market. Something special, little easier to sell. Something special with a nice fabric and the flesh pony, it'll sell fast. And then if you put all these things together and then put a giant pony right here, that's going to be your higher premium in the resale secondary market on polo or vintage polo Ralph Lauren. This was my Goodwill haul. I went to a tiny little mountain town thrift store. I recently moved. My health has gone to absolute garbage. The healthcare I was getting in Louisiana sucked. And so I went back up to Virginia with plans to go to UVA Medical System because I know they've been able to help me in the past when I used to live here. And the picking here has been awesome. And then I was going to a free clinic just to get established. And the nurse that worked there worked at a thrift store, and I told her what I did for money, and she was like, "Come to my thrift store." So I did. And my first trip there, I found a couple of nice higher end items that I've never really messed with before, and they sold instantly. So I went back, and before I went, I stopped by Goodwill, and I did a little Polo Ralph Lauren grab. This one's cool because again, it's got the great design. It is vintage. It has a vintage tag. It's a classic fit. I think this material is like an Oxford material that might help sell it. And then it has the flesh pony, and it is a size large, which is good. So nice design, vintage, flesh pony. And then also at the Goodwill, I found this cool vintage Nike. It's got the piping, which is a great keyword. People like the piping. This is embroidered, not a screen print like the newer ones. Got a little embroidered back here. It probably costs like $40, but 5 into 40, I'm not complaining about. And next we are on to, speaking of these Pendleton shirts, next to it, I found this vintage Pendle-esque shirt with the majestic Foulbird all over print. Gotta love that. Again, bread and butter items. Goodwill, I scored a Nike USA soccer jersey. It's got sort of the color block situation going on here. It's a good piece. That's probably like a $40 or $50 jersey, honestly. I do great with soccer jerseys, especially. And then, what else did we get? I got this unstructured blazer. I really don't do a lot of blazers. I just started. I sold linen Sid Mashburn that was sort of unstructured like this as well recently. And this one I never heard of, but I looked up. This is Buffalo Works something and other. I don't know what Bluff Works. And it had decent comps, so I grabbed it, see how that works. Also, we got the, this is a great brand to look out for. Most plain Henley shirt you'll ever see, both very plain. They sell very well and very fast, not for a ton of money because they're so plain, but for good money. And this brand is Taylor Stitch. I just kind of learned about these guys from another YouTuber, and Thrift Gods brought me a couple of nice Taylor Stitch Henleys, so I'll see how those go. And then just for fun, we have the patchwork haul. I love whoever dropped these off. So we got the vintage Polo Ralph Lauren patchwork. These are really popular. If it had a pony on it, it would get a higher premium, but this is just Ralph Lauren. Oh, there's a little blue pony, but if that was a flesh pony, that'd be way better. So we got the Polo Ralph Lauren patchwork at the Tommy for your mommy, Tommy Hilfiger patchwork, and the Orvis patchwork. This one, the buttons only come down to EA. Honestly, Orvis doesn't sell great anymore, but only if it's vintage and something cool. Again, like Duluth, it's got to be something a little special to do well. So that's the Goodwill haul. Another higher end brand that I just recently heard about that I'm going to try out is Proper Cloth. Found this floral and a nice fabric. We'll see how that does. And then I also found this vest here. It's also Proper Cloth. A little nicer. So we're gonna try those. I've been doing well with bomber jackets. Bomber jackets, just a huge keyword, especially the ones that look like this. This one's got some naughty words on it, but I guess it's a brand. It's reversible. They sell for about $100 used on eBay. At the inside, that's the brand. I'm not gonna say it just in case for whatever. I don't think it matters. And then more with the blazers. Again, it's like a linen, unstructured. I looked up the brand. The comps were good. And then this new tag. It's a nice window pane. I don't know much about this Tailorbird brand. I've seen a lot of their golf stuff, which is really nice. So I'm thinking I could get $60 or $70 for that. You know, they hit me for $10 at the Goodwill. Because I guess it was new tag, so we'll see how that happens. And then recently I've been going into also some mall brands. But the mall brand has to be something special. This one being like a thick corduroy shacket. It's Hollister, which I hate. But recently I've sold some J. Crew and other random mall brands that I can't think of right now. But as long as there was something cool like this, they get a premium. And malls are shutting down. And people want those brands. And they want the stuff they used to have. And it's doing pretty good. So, with all that being said, it's going to be a long video. Guess not. We're getting to the bangers, don't worry. I went to this little mountain thrift store that my awesome nurse lady sent me to. She volunteers there. She showed up after with more donations. She told me they had gotten a bunch of men's jackets and clothing and stuff in, and that I needed to go look at it. So, I did. Probably at least 30% of what they had gotten in that she told me about had sold by the time I got there. And this is what I found. And it was cool. It was Fill a Bag Day for $20, right? So this is the bag they get. Well, they didn't. I just piled up the counter and they filled the bag. And then there were some items that weren't part of that sale, but everything else was still 50% off. So it wasn't part of the Fill the Bag, then it was 50% off. So I grabbed a bunch of what was supposed to be 50% off items, and she went ahead and stuffed them in the bag for me. So I got this giant bag for 20 bucks and a couple of other items I'm going to show you here. This I just grabbed because how could you not? It's made in the USA. Never heard of it. I don't know who this is. I don't know this brand. It feels like quality wool, and it's got a design. I'm going to look it up and see what it is later. If you know, tell me in the comments. This was, they had marked at $5, but it was part of the bag. And again, the bag I got for 20. Then I ran across these Carhartts, which I don't normally pick up, just plain Jane Carhartts, because you can get a brand new pair of Carhartts at Ross for 20 bucks. Like it's a flooded market. You can go any of those discount stores and find Carhartts for 20 bucks. But the more they have going on with them, the more value they have. And these just so happen to be like Y2K vintage, which makes it a little bit better, but not much. They're my size, which, if I don't sell them, fine, I'm cool with that. But then they're the Y2K, so they have the old school tech pocket with the cell phone pocket and the little carpenter pocket that I thought I just found. Oh, it's lined. It's like an insulated carpet. And then they have this like double reinforced ankle area. So if it didn't have those reinforcements and these extra pockets and stuff, it would be a $5 to $20 pair of jeans. But this is going to make it like 30, 40 maybe. I don't know. I've never seen this model before. I just know Carhartts that have something special going on with them get a premium. Whereas other Carhartt is just a flooded market. You're just be one of a million people trying to sell that same thing. And then over in the jeans, also in my size, this is going to be so hard to let go of. I have no idea what I'm going to sell these for. They're probably going to get around $100, if not more. But these are also part of that bag. They are the diesel vintage jeans. They're beautiful, button fly, whiskered. That's a good keyword to know. Diesel jeans all over it. They had them there listed, my size, for $4.50. Again, it got thrown in the bag. Also, speaking of keywords, this is always one to look for. Made in Italy. Not everything made in Italy. There are Chinese manufacturers in Italy now, so you got to be careful. But this is the good stuff. I mean, just perfect patina. It's a great pair of diesel jeans that I got for, I don't know, pennies. It's part of this $20 bag. Oh, also at the Goodwill, for $5.99, I found the ugliest pair of Reeboks I'd ever seen in my entire life. Now, I listed these as soon as I got home. For 300 bucks, because the last pair sold for 330, I believe, in this condition, which is basically new. It's still got the original UPC in there. Now this will have to go through eBay authentication. It's a Reebok Pyre Moss. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this is a designer. Sorry about my fingers. I was in the yard earlier. But yeah, Pyre Moss designer Reeboks. Now, normally when you think $300 shoes used, you think Jordans or something along those lines. But apparently Reebok's doing it too. It's crazy. It's got these little zippers. That comes open. And, wow. And then you got another whole like tie down system in there. I don't know, man. I guess the more money you have, the more little fidget spinners you got to have on your shoes. Who knows? But yeah, that was a great find. Totally unexpected. I didn't look them. I just saw they were weird, ugly shoes that had a Reebok, and I was like, well, I could get for $6. I'm gonna buy them because I could get at least 30 for these things. The uglier it is, the more chances of you have that it's something good. They're kind of beautiful, but in an ugly way, if that makes sense. I don't know, but I don't know much about these, but that was a great find that I knew nothing about. That's the thing about this, is like every time you go out, it's like people ask me like, what do you pick? Like, what do you look for? What's the type of items you want? Because a lot of my friends, they want to like give me stuff or help me, and they're out and about in the world, and they're like, what kind of things are you looking for? And I always tell them I can't answer you, because every time I go out, it's something different, and I'm always learning, and that's just one of those things. The jackets I'm learning about, getting off those sporting brands and getting into some of the higher end, nicer fabrics I'm learning about. It's all learning. Also, I've learned that when you're filling up your bag, this was supposed to be one of the half off items. I had it at the thrift marked for $40, and so it was supposed to be 20, but they were lovely people and they stuffed the bag for $20, and I actually got this so cheap. And what struck my interest was the $40 tag. Like, I'm at the thrift store, and instead of going $40 at a thrift store and then throwing it back, I said, why is this $40? And I got on the phone and I started looking up the things, and it's $40 because they sell for a couple of hundred. And I don't remember if that was the new price when I looked it up. Regardless, if it sells for 200 new, you probably get 100 or at least 50 for it in the used secondary market. However, this is kind of like used but excellent condition, almost new without tags condition, and I honestly think they go for more than that new. But I was hesitant on even spending $20 for it, but when I saw they go for 200, I put it up on the counter, and then she was so kind and stuffed it in that bag, so I didn't pay 20 for it. I got it for probably a couple dollars, if that. Speaking of cool jackets, and speaking of vintage Polo Ralph Lauren, these are the bangers. Like, if you're gonna do Polo Ralph Lauren, don't go after the shirts unless they're super fancy, bright colors. I don't know. Some of them are good. Fancy fabrics, you know, but their like outerwear and stuff is iconic. And this is one of those. It's like a hooded parka. And it's going to get a little more of a premium. The vintage with the corduroy collar, the removable buttoned hood. It's got the reinforced like elbow patches. It's navy blue. Navy's like a hot color always. There's so much going for this jacket, and it looks plain and simple. And I'm never wanted to ever get into reselling of Polo Ralph Lauren because it was so confusing, and it's just like, one could be worth nothing. How do you know? You know, and a year and a half of experience of just taking the time to go ahead and look stuff up and watch other YouTubers and whatnot really helped a lot. I don't know what I'm gonna ask for this. Again, I didn't look it up. It was again supposed to be half off of 20, and I would have gladly paid 10 for this, but she just threw it in the bag. All these items I'm showing you, I got for a couple dollars a piece because the lady stuffed them in the bag for me, which was so kind of her. And then I think we're to the bangers. I just got to figure out what I did to them with them. I guess I didn't bring them. I did this whole video and didn't bring the bangers. That's crazy. I'll make it short of the bangers. Thanks for watching.